Hello and welcome to ChinnyVision. What could be more welcome than a follow-up to one of my favourite games of all time? We reviewed Yie Ar Kung Fu last year here on ChinnyVision and it came out very, very well, especially on the CPC. Indeed, it's one of my favourite CPC games of all time. So what more could you want than a follow-up to this superb game? Now, it's not a port from the arcade this time, it's a port from the MSX version. So what we're going to do is start off on this MSX cart that I recently acquired. MSX Yie Ar Kung Fu was a little bit different to the arcade and other 8-bit versions, and this version is ostensibly the same across all versions, but there is no arcade version. You play Lee and you've got to walk across 3 screens where these flying babies or monkeys or something fly at you. And then on the 4th screen, the baddie is there that you have to fight. So we're fighting Yen Pai, P, and he's got a big ponytail that he uses to hit you. So the secret here is to try and get in close and hit him, although it's easier said than done. There aren't too many moves in Yie Ar Kung Fu 2. I don't think there's as many moves as Yie Ar Kung Fu 1, and I've been beaten already. Uses the MSX sprites. There's absolutely no colour clash at all. And you've got these big sprites and nice animation when you move around. Though the walking motions are a bit odd. Right, so getting close this time. Occasionally power-ups will drop down. There's a T power-up that gives you more energy. And I'm going to beat him. Oh, and you get... Oh no, I've lost again. Huh. When you lose a life, you don't have to go back to the beginning screen and hit all the things flying at you again. Well, let's try and do this properly this time. Looks really nice on the MSX. The main sprites lack a little bit of definition. There's absolutely no colour clash at all. Everything's moving beautifully. Right, 2 more hits on him and he'll be dead. Oh. If you get down to the last few blocks, you get that tension music. But no, I've won. I do a little dance of joy. On to stage 2. Playing this on my Hitbit, by the way. It's an MSX 1 game. Don't see if I've got to do all this walking through thing. So here's Lang Fang, who, incidentally, in 2-player mode, you can choose as a playable character, making her, I believe, the first female character in a fighting game that you can actually play in any arcade or home computer game. I believe, or so I read. So that's quite nice. Years before Street Fighter 2 and Chun-Li. Right, again, it's a question of getting close. Very similar to Star in Yie Ar Kung Fu 1, in that she throws this time fans at you, but Star in Yie Ar Kung Fu 1 throws stars at you, but same thing, you've got to get up close, otherwise you've got no hope at all. And all the baddies have got these special moves. There's 8 baddies, I believe, in total. Come on. Oh. Really there. Couple more. Oh, so close. 1-on-1. Come on. Yes! Right. Well, I wasn't expecting him to do that, so that's quite good. On to stage 3. Po Chin. Anything with chins in it is a good name. And we're in caves now. Still, it's frustrating. Why? It's so repetitive, this bit, as well, having to hit all these things. I think you do get bonuses if you hit enough of them, but it's just a little bit frustrating. What does he do? Oh, he blows things at me that make me freeze and shake. I'm not doing well here. Very colourful game on the MSX for a system that doesn't actually have many colours. Speaking of systems that don't have many colours, moving over to the BBC Micro, and the UK 8-bit home versions were all ported by Imagine, who were, of course, owned by Ocean at that stage. And we're going to start off on a CRT view here on the BBC, an Acorn CRT monitor. Same setup as the MSX. This game didn't come out in the arcade, as I mentioned before. It is ported from the MSX. So I try and play, now playing this on the RGB capture rather than press the pause key. Typical BBC Micro controls, just trying to flail around on the keyboard, find what weird key set is being used. So here we are against Yen P. Smaller characters here on the BBC Micro. A little bit garish with the green background. Although it looks better on CRT, as you can see here as I fight Lang Fang. And they've tried their best to authentically port this. It plays quite well. It's a little bit easy. Possibly better than Yie Ar Kung Fu 1, which I found a little bit frustrating on the Beeb. Although the gameplay mechanic problems still remain with having to go through 3 screens before we actually get to fight anyone. Right, that's a power up there, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it. That should be some TP. I don't actually need it in the end. On to level 5 and a different background again. Looks quite attractive. Japanese style windows, trees in the bonsai trees or something in the background. Don't know what I'm talking about. And this is Ren Chin. Lots of people call Chin in this game, which is quite superb. And he's throwing boomerangs. So he's Japanese. Oh, he's beating me. This is later level. This is Mi Ling. So over to the C64 version. Again, you've got a 1 or 2 player option. Only a couple of the players in all of these versions are actually playable. I think it's 3 or 4. You can't play all 8 against each other. And we have music here on the C64. And you seem to get 3 levels of baddies travelling at you at once. Top, middle and bottom, which I don't think you seem to get on the MSX. Probably for technical reasons rather than gameplay reasons. So fighting Yang P. I do prefer the sprites here on the C64 because all the graphics on the other version seem a little bit large and wide. It's incredibly hard here on the C64. Yang P has defeated me. Try again. Of all the 3 there's a power up there. Oh, didn't get it. Of all the versions I've played so far, the C64 version is by far the hardest. It's nearly impossible. In fact, it's so hard on the C64, I've struggled to get off level 1. So we're going over to the Amstrad CPC. A game I got on an Imagine compilation, Konami Coin Up Hits, I believe. And it actually says the conversion is done by James Software on this version, not a company I'd heard of. Very polished menu screen there, just 2 options on it. So this looks very close to the MSX. Is he dragging his back leg along? It doesn't seem to be much movement going on. No music. It's very slow. Very slow here on the CPC. It's like the MSX, but in slow motion. Doesn't look anywhere near as good as the original Yie Ar Kung Fu did on the CPC. The original Yie Ar Kung Fu looked absolutely gorgeous on the Amstrad. This does not look absolutely gorgeous. It looks okay, but you expect a sequel to look even better than the original. And this seems like a game where perhaps they couldn't be bothered. If I'm going to win this, it's slow motion fighting down to the last few bars of health. Might do this. One more, I've done it. That was an exercise in frustration rather than enjoyment in terms of gameplay. Level 2. This would be Fang, who throws the fans. And there she is. Very slow motion jumping. There's a power. The problem with the power-ups, it's so difficult to get to them. Oh, I have picked it up, so I should be invincible, I think. for a little while. Oh, for a little bit more speed here. Oh, for the fluidity of Yie Ar Kung Fu 1 on the CPC. No wonder you didn't hear much about this game. I was surprised to see there was a Yie Ar Kung Fu 2 when I got the compilation, because I'd never really heard much or anything about it, whereas Yie Ar Kung Fu 1 was a widely publicised game. I wonder if Ocean just realised it was a bit of a duffer, but they had the rights anyway, so just knocked out this and quietly released it. Did the Hit Squad re-release this? They must have done. But again, I never recall seeing a copy of Yie Ar Kung Fu 2 on the budget shelves either. Level 3, this is Po Chin. Same graphics, you're not in a cave on the CPC, you're still with the same background. Oh, this is... It's not terrible. It's not particularly good. Over the Spectrum, and this conversion is also by James Software. I've just noticed Lee is sitting down in the picture above the James Software credit, so you can make your own joke about James and sit down if you wish. So I've got a bit of speed on the Spectrum at last. It's not great, the animation's still rubbish, he's still dragging his back leg behind him. All the same colour, so we're avoiding colour clash. I wonder if you jump, when I do jump, if you get colour clash when you go over the background, if you get that far up. We'll see. Been beaten badly here. Yeah, you do, but it's not a huge problem when you jump up. Oh dear. It's still... Am I going to win this? I'm going to get beaten up, aren't I? No, might do. Yay! Well, I wasn't expecting that. On to Lang Fang. Oh, you're supposed to hit these things. It's tedious. You don't want to. You get bonuses. You can see them appearing down there. I think they're power-ups that give you more power if you press a certain key. Because I was doing that on the BBC Micro version. But really, it's all fussy and complicated and lacks the fluidity of the original. And look at that. What's you goose stepping there? I mean, just... that looks rubbish. Oh, right. On to one of the later levels with the fabulously named Po Chin. And you do get a change of backgrounds on the Specky. There's a cup of tea there, was noodles or something. Sitting in a colour clash here. Is it disappearing? Is it flickering? What's it doing? I can't get... Oh no, I've got it. I have got it. I really thought I wouldn't, so I'm invincible now. So I might be able to beat him. Come on, Po Chin, take a beat. Yes. Still in a cave for Wen Hu. What is he? They could have done a better job of drawing the sprites here on the Specky. I'm trying to... It's like some monster. It's with a dinosaur head. Oh, what was that? Now I'm trying to remember that cartoon that had a monster with a dinosaur head, or a man with a dinosaur head. Wasn't He-Man? No, I don't think it was He-Man. So yeah, this is fairly dull. This looks quite good though, onto the Wei Chin level. That's a nice simplistic background as we saw on the BBC. And again, another background here. This is nice, this area here. And he looks like the ghost. He looks like the ghost from the Ghostbusters logo in terms of his head. Dear me, who drew these? I can get beaten, he's too good. I might do it. Oh, no! Well, I was looking forward to a game that was better than the original Yie Ar Kung Fu, and I feel I've been really let down. The problem is the game originates from the MSX version, which is a pretty weak game, if we're honest. It looks nice enough, and nice use of the MSX sprites and the colourful graphics, but beyond that, it's nowhere near as fun as the original arcade game. You've got 3 screens of battling through things flying at you, and then you've got a frustrating baddie at the end. The UK versions are all very indifferent, really. The C64 version is probably the pick of the crop. It's certainly very polished and looks fairly good, but oh my goodness, the gameplay is impossible. I'll tell you more about the game, but I simply just cannot get off level 1. I couldn't find a trainer either, so that just went out the window, so really sorry about that. The Amstrad version looks okay to look at, but nowhere near the gorgeous levels of Yie Ar Kung Fu 1, but it's really, really slow. The Spectrum version was okay, the graphics are pretty poor, especially the enemy sprites, but a little bit of fun fighting the bad guys, especially when you get down to a few bars of energy each and you're not quite sure who's going to win. On the BBC Micro, it's the only system that improves over the first game. Yie Ar Kung Fu 1 was pretty weak on the BBC Micro. Yie Ar Kung Fu 2 is an improvement. It's still not a brilliant game, but of all these versions, at least it manages to improve on its version of the original. Overall, Yie Ar Kung Fu 2 is a cash-in on the goodwill felt towards the superb original game. The problem is, this game doesn't live up remotely to the original game. Even if Ocean had put more resources into this, the game would have always been slightly rubbish. The whole problem comes back to the MSX version, and a game that, although it looks nice on that system, has gameplay that is very thin, fighting that isn't very much fun, and overall it's a little bit of a frustrating experience. I'm afraid it's a real missed opportunity to produce a game even better than the original.